Welcome to Elite 6 Think Tank, an open discussion group with business owners who share their knowledge, experience and skills. Good morning.
Hi,
Welcome along to our Think Tank meeting. I don't know what date it is, but I presume it's in the year 2020.
24.
Last week we decided to get off topic, and the podcast was actually called Miscellaneous at the end of the day. It was really quite good. I really enjoyed it. Rob Woolley isn't here yet, but he will get an applause when he walks in for being late. He's a public speaker trainer who doesn't know the importance of turning up on time.
Does he never turn up on time?
No,
Is there other venues
it's an addiction of his to be late.
Really?
Yeah, he's only had the problem since, I think he's about 50 something, isn't he? Yeah, so if you're listening to this, Rob, please turn up on time, and we should bribe him somehow. But anyway, so last week we did actually start the topic off with 2020 vision, but morphed into something else, and I had quite a good analogy of what 2020 vision is all about. Basically, you may actually set your business up perfectly, and you may have a good vision of where you want to go. We had a good example of that in the weekend. We went to Melbourne. I turned 50. Stop laughing. And we went on a bus trip and went and looked at the 12 apostles. And then all this cloud like it was coming in. No, that's the fire smoke. And I thought that's quite a good analogy in a way, because you may actually be really focused on where you want to go, but then something else happened that you out of your control that may change your vision, so to speak. So have we got a structure here? We're talking about people's experiences with having a really good vision in their business and it perhaps not going to play or like they hoped. So what's your experience in staying focused on your vision?
I threw mine away and started again.
Start again? So was that because you wrote it down?
I wrote it down and I created what I thought I wanted. And then after taking a few weeks off over Christmas, the whole thing got burnt. Literally burnt. And I thought, no, actually I need to be more congruent with who I am, how I work, because whatever vision I have comes from the core of the person who's doing it. Yeah, so I'm starting over.
Starting over.
So was the original one what you thought you should be in your industry? What?
Exactly. And then you've got all there's the publicity element of it, there is, got to have this, and it's driving me crazy. When actually the essence of what I do is I love the intimacy of it. 93.8% of my clients last year were referred to me.
Wow.
So that tells me that people, mostly guys talk. Guys are weaving through them without doing it. It's a big hoo-ha thing. So I thought, actually, I'm not going to do that anymore. What I want to do is deliver this, I call it a red carpet, pretty much red carpet that sells me. Because what I like doing is not the massive aspect. I like intimacy. So if I do group work, it's going to be small.
So
It's what?
If I do group work, it's going to be small.
Right.
Yeah. If you could just raise your voice a little bit more. Then
Sorry, it's the hypnotist in me.
Is it right? Yeah.
You're going to have to work with that
Yeah,
one.
sorry.
Yeah, there we go.
So I want to home in on not the, I'm going to use the word global very carefully because I'm not looking to go worldwide. I don't want to take the big picture and I'll actually bring it in and keep the intimacy because that's why I work my best.
But didn't you get asked out 3 times in a week?
Yeah, last just before Christmas.
That's
Yeah,
the
big wooden
voice.
spoon.
It's not so much asked out. You
Feeling
get
sleepy.
clients telling you how much they love you. This is like,
Yeah. I would try that with my therapist. She had more issues than I knew.
mostly with guys, I'm probably the first person they've actually had that level of community intimacy. And so it
Are
does
people
get-
lacking that in their life?
More and
Yes.
more, yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The village
Yes.
is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why something like this is so important, because it puts us back in touch with the village again.
Yep,
It does,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
But it's honesty
It's
to yourself
isolating a lot.
and people around you.
Do people care about each other?
Yes.
Do people care about
Inherently, yes.
Yes, but we don't tell people that, and we don't follow up on it.
Yeah. They care, but it's the action
Yeah.
is what's like.
So I was in hospital and I had 10 people come and visit me in 2 weeks, and that was 10 years ago. And I'm thinking, ooh, okay, that helped me think about who, and there were people I hadn't seen for years, who are those sort of real friends.
And there would have been 20 other people going, oh, I must go and see Danny tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, and I thought, well, they
Just
might
leave
just
it
got
happen.
busy in life, and they got their priorities right. And now I have a philosophy that if I know somebody well and they're in hospital, I don't care what I'm doing,
Okay.
I'm going to go and do it, because I've had the experience.
I'll remind you of that. Not that I'm going to hospital anytime soon that I know about,
We
but you
have
never
an
know.
arrange.
But it's really interesting. Sometimes it can be something like that reflects what you're talking about with the 2020 vision. Some of you heard that signature story of mine about being a window gaze and corner hunter. But there's a part of that where, because I was literally working, I was doing 70 plus hours a week almost every week, and in the end, and I was getting by what I could pour down my throat, alcohol and coffee, what I could suck into my lungs, nicotine, and long distance running.
Yeah, it's a good combination.
Okay, and working 70 plus hours a week, and you can do all this by yourself. And so, boom, body said too much, not putting up with this.
Shouldn't have been doing the running, David.
What do you say? So, shoulders tilted over, spine curved, and got sclerosis, I think is what it's called. And in those days, what they did was they sent you to bed for 7 days. And you do a lot of thinking in 7 days. Man, do you what? And I literally turned my whole life around because of it, because I had the time to sit there and have a bit of 2020 vision about what it was that I was doing, what was going on in my life, and to make the decision to make some changes. And totally changed my life.
You might not have.
That's right.
Yeah.
I could have still been the same old dull, fat boy, chartered accountant. That's right, yes.
So, what about, I don't know if you can reflect on that, but what, in your life, was there a time when you changed something majorly? Like, you reassessed it and actually made a drastic change and it was cool?
Give me a ball, or can I just talk?
Yeah, but demanding.
Oh,
Here's the ball for Helen, she knows it.
Time in my life was the marriage breakup. So, big things like that always change things. And that was the point where I said to myself, I'm not going to stress about anything anymore. And I was at this point where I thought, if I have to pay another mortgage payment, I'm going to go under. I'm using my credit card and things like that. But it's what turned me from a glass half full person to a glass, what's the other way?
The other way. Half empty, half full.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Hopefully the other way.
Yeah. And I just thought, I've got to stay positive. I've got to stay positive, no matter what happens. And I know I did. And now I'm this most positive person that has a completely different outlook on life. And it's kind of like a marriage breakup made that happen, Yeah. But it was for the best. But yeah, that was a point in my life. Yeah. Yeah.
See,
exactly.
just using the half glass, half full empty thing, so somebody give it, what does that really say? Because what I'm hearing is like, it's your attitude, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always maintain a positive attitude. We had a discussion about this other day about positiveness, and I'd rather just do positive stuff now. I'm more of an action person, and I'd rather get stuck in and do something good than think about being positive and not actually doing something. So I'm a doer more than a thinker, but you like the thinking, and I probably got that off the whack. But
I was watching, also I might have mentioned this the other day, a documentary called Heal, and it's on Netflix, so if you get a chance, watch it. But it's all about people's mindsets and how they can heal their body. There was a woman with stage 4 cancer, and she recovered from it just with how she thought and diet and things like that. But it's all in our head.
Okay, so experiences with vision, disappointment, negative, isn't it? Not achieving your goals, making them too big, unattainable.
I think if you're doing things, very often one of the things that gives you the most pleasure and the most enjoyment in life is very often doing the things that you do and doing them well and seeing that recognised in the people that you're doing it for or with. You know, that's, to my mind, that's the thing that reinforces that what we're doing well. I think that's a great thing as well. Take the time to recognise it when you do something well, and give yourself a pat on the back.
Celebrate your success. Yeah. And I think everyone seems to stop and smell the roses. Well, they don't.
We need to.
No,
we
don't.
do.
It's the same as the reflection. You don't take time. Most people don't take time to actually stop and reflect on their life, or actually embrace the successes they have achieved, rather than focusing on the negatives. And if more people just stopped and looked at what they're actually succeeded or have succeeded in, then they'd be much more positive and happy, because they'd realise they are actually going forward and they're not just stuck. Because there's a lot of even a lot of little things will add up to a big thing. You just got to try and focus not on the negative view of it, because there's always a positive in there.
Yeah, I mean, you could break it down to daily, weekly. I mean, if I said to you in the last 7 days, what's something that positively has happened, that you could sort of have some sort of, like when it's Friday and you finished your week's work and you think, oh, like for me it was getting the SMT server working properly and my invoices working again. I was like, oh my god, the water's flowing again. You know, but to me, that's something in my mind that actually makes me feel good. But I might take Friday afternoon off to celebrate.
Vodafone have come up with a new thing that they're giving all their staff 12 o'clock onwards off on a Friday.
Really?
Like what you
For
said.
summer.
Yeah, just for summer. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
One of my colleagues in Auckland, apparently we're all set to either work well on a 4-week, 5-week or a 6-week cycle. And so he does this test, and however it works out, he gives them the Friday off either 4, 5 or 6 weeks, because if you give everyone it off on a 4-week cycle and they're a 6-week person, it won't actually have the same effect. So
I was just wondering though, if Vodafone had done this, if you've got an urgent problem, who do you call?
There will be the minion staff who don't
Right,
get
yeah.
to do it. There's
I thought
always
it
the
might be.
there's always the minion staff who don't get that fun
The
stuff.
call centre.
Yeah, that's
Manila?
that's exactly yeah. Well, most of their call centres Christchurch,
Oh, really?
so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a lot of their Christchurch staff there's skeleton staff on.
Yeah.
Alright, so problems with having a vision. Is there any problems?
Doing it in isolation.
Isolation?
Yeah.
Isolation?
I find last year I spoke to a lot of people, got loads and loads of ideas. Now that I've digested all those ideas, I've got a clear idea of what I want to do. So it's taking in input from people that have got a different viewpoint from you, or can see how you work from a different point of view. So I've talked to clients, I've talked to people that are tech savvy, I've talked to people business savvy, and I just kind of put it all together and thought, okay, what do I want to do with that? And then actually adapted that to suit my personality. That's allowing me to create the position that I'm in now for myself.
How do you share your vision? And who doesn't get your, if they don't get your vision or criticise your vision or...
Select few.
Yeah, so is it a personal thing or is it a business thing?
But
Is it something you put on your mission statement?
Your
or-
business
Depends on your
should
personality.
tell your customers the vision without having to tell
And your
them.
team definitely should know your vision. Like they're all working for the same. They should all be heading in the same direction. They should all know your vision for the year.
Absolutely.
It
Talk
should
through
be
it with
fundamental.
everyone.
Well, it's a good point because I share that with my family.
Yeah.
I think going back to the problems, the biggest problem with vision is you might have plenty of ideas, but it's actually the execution of those and the actual doing. You know, I guess only a small percentage of your time is actually coming up with the ideas and what you're going to do, but really the bulk of the time is going to be the actual doing of it.
So, what
So
is
that's the
vision
problem
without
to
an
me,
action
because
plan?
there's a lot of time behind a good idea.
Yeah, so if there's a vision with no action plan, it becomes an idea or a concept.
And then have you confirmed that your vision is actually what your customers want? Do you get feedback from your customers on what they actually want? Or are you just going, oh, this sounds like a good idea, let's do this year? is that what customers want? Do you get continuous feedback from your customers and feed that back into your vision for moving forward?
You also have to remember when you're setting your vision to expect crap to happen. So don't get depressed and beat yourself up if you're behind on your action plans, because that's life.
Flexibility.
And you could have got well left of those at some point, but
Yep.
found something way cooler as well.
Exactly.
So it's not always.
Don't get so stuck on that's where I need to be, because that'll just cause stress and
Be the director, not the producer.
Pretty cool.
That's how I put it.
I had a funny one this morning, just an idea that didn't work, but it sounded pretty good when I was saying it. Paul Blackler owns Anytime Fitness. So he does radio advertising, $800 a month. He does AdWords, Facebook advertising. He spends a good $300,000-$400,000 a month on advertising. And I said, what about turning that around and thinking about why people go to your gym? They go in there not because they're supporting the gym, they like the brand, they're going there because they want to get fit and healthy. So imagine if you wrote them all an email and said, I'm stopping all my advertising, and my advertising budget is now going on getting like paid speakers to come in on a Saturday morning and do an hour-long talk on nutrition or ways to get fit, and I want you guys to be part of it, because there must be a bit of community there. And they quite like that idea, and I said then you can justify working on the people in the business rather than trying to get people, because he's competing with all these other gyms around the Rangiora, especially at the moment. I thought that sounded pretty cool. But if that's what I was trying to do, is turn it around to why do people, if you have a vision, why do people want to buy into your vision? Why do you guys come to Elite 6 on a Friday? You've got nothing else to do, I know, but so what is this to you? What are we trying to accomplish here? How can we make this better? What's lacking? I can share my vision and you go, well, it's not what's happening. I go, yeah, I'm trying.
This is to answer that to some degree. This is a place where batteries get charged, isn't it?
How do they get flat?
Just life gets in the way. You come along here, you hear all this stuff, your ideas, even stuff you don't have to agree with it, but you think, oh yeah, okay. So it is, to me, it's battery recharge.
It's inspiration.
Yeah.
Ideas, mentalities. Like, I know I can sit here in a room full, just being quiet, and I can go, right, 6 months down the track, I'm going to talk to you. Right, about a year from now, I'm going to talk to you, Mr. Clarkson. And vice, I can go around the room and sort of go, who am I going to form relationships over the next year? But it's also hearing different people's ideas and philosophies and thoughts. And it either confirms or disrupts what I think.
Because I was thinking about, I really like, Dave and I have a chat once a week for an hour, and it's just good to have somebody else's perspective on what your thoughts. And then I'm sitting there today and listening to Matt James.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I think I could actually use him. Now I personally not into business coaches at all, probably not really into that. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting there thinking, I could probably use this guy for me, And it's funny how your thinking changes. And I get a feeding frenzy. Have you ever seen that happen? They chuck in a handful of grain into a whole lot of salmon at the farm, whatever, and then you go away with an idea that's worth gold, So, are we still on vision? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think sometimes what happens though is we're so busy getting on with business, we don't actually think about what it is that we're really about. Why, what it is that we want to happen in a global sense rather than just an individual sense. And I think oftentimes it can be difficult for people to actually get their head around what it is that they're about.
Actually, this is a brilliant topic. I've got people who say to me quite often, I'm too busy to come to Elite 6 now, I'm flat out, don't need you guys anymore. And I'm going, oh, okay. And I'm thinking, well, why is that the case? And I'm thinking, is that good that they're busy and they're flat out? Well, don't they put anything back into personal development? Because that's what I think this is. And then why can't you build that into part of your pie that you eat each week?
Well, I think apart from anything else, if you build something like this in, what happens, and a little bit like what Nigel was saying, you could be busy as, but the reality of it is that as you're in these sort of talk groups and what have you, people will come up with ideas that can actually make what you're doing, even though you're busy, it can help you cope with the busyness and be more effective. And so why would you close an avenue off for getting that sort of information that's just going to cost you, what, an hour a week, you know?
And if you are that busy, then you do kind of need downtime that's not that constant cycle of emails or clients, or you do need that feedback where you bounce ideas off, and you can't always do it with your team because they're really invested. It's that third party going, why are you doing that?
I had this guy this week come on a Tuesday morning, and he said he's currently looking for administration and maybe a marketing guy. However, I said, so you want somebody to help do your books? No. Oh, so what's the admin person going to do? And he didn't really know. And then I think you went away with, I actually need to come up with a job description. And then we gave him a title as well, executive what?
Executive.
That was me, by the way.
I think that's gold, and I think,
Yeah, I just thought, I mean, of course I'd heard executive assistant. I just thought it sounded a little bit exclusive, or it was for the team. But as it was pointed out, the executive assistant can be to the team. So,
and I thought it was quite a nice boat. It sort of elevated them into an important role in the company. And
I hate titles for the sake of titles, though.
well, it's better than admin.
Is it? Well, it also depends, probably, in my opinion, it depends on what pay rate you're looking at and what seniority they have. If they're literally
I think
answering the phone and pushing paper, then they're not an executive assistant.
No, I think, and then that was kind of part of it, what kind of came out of it as well. It's, somebody that you can virtually throw anything at and they will take care of it. And sometimes I guess maybe if you're thinking more admin, maybe it's repetitive stuff that just needs to be done each month, whereas this might be like, I'm going to throw a curveball at you and just sort it out.
Make it happen.
Just make it happen, So
That's an EA role.
Yeah.
It's not a
Definitely an EA role.
I would have thought it was more PA.
Well then, so if you're a personal assistant, then you're not a...
You're only doing it for one person if you're a personal assistant.
Gotcha.
You're an EA if you're doing it for a team.
Gotcha.
We're at different stages. Like the idea of me hiring somebody terrifies the hell out of me. You've got like 5 staff,
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've gone to another level where you can do that now and think, we'll hire somebody else, we'll let somebody go. But you're getting that first one under your belt. Helen and I, we're doing quite well with our online shops, and we're trying to think, what's a job that we could outsource, So yesterday, mate and I, we set up a ticketing system. So 5 of our website that gets a lot of support, people put in a ticket, and then now we think, actually there's a job role, we could get somebody who looks after our support inquiries, but then we need to go away and create all the frequently asked questions that they would get asked. And that might take a while, but eventually that could actually give us 30% of our week back, So it's just that sort of thinking, and you've done ticketing, you've had ticketing and your stuff? Yeah, and all these big companies do ticketing requests, and that's why they use it.
You've already got your FAQs from your past inquiries anyway.
Yeah.
So you just start, and the FAQ, the questions will form your FAQs going forward.
Because I have a knowledge base on Elite 6, but everyone asks me the same questions. But I had 21 or 18 and forgotten. But every time I get a new question, I add it to it, and I think, I'll tell people to read it. They just keep saying to me, it's the same questions, and they go, you're not reading.
Just send them back to a link to the FAQs.
Yeah, normally what I do is I cut and paste the answer, put it in here, and say for other commonly asked questions, check out this page. And then, everything's cut and paste really. Yeah. Alright, so we'll get with that. So you're looking for an administration executive assistant.
Or business support is the other option.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Nigel.
Just getting back to vision for a moment.
Good man. Somebody stays on target. Very focused, Nigel.
Thank you. I remember partway through last year being one of these discussions, and we looked at the difference between what a dream was and what a vision was. And
Leon from Biz Dojo. Yeah, Karen.
well, I actually sort of picked up on that one because you can dream about anything you like, but a vision really is, but it's a dream on steroids. It's got legs, hasn't it? It's something you've decided to actually put in place. The comment got made before by yourself as action plan. The other things that come into that thinking are some kind of accountability, goal setting, all that kind of stuff. What does it take to achieve the vision, or what time is going to happen, and so on and so forth. So I think to talk about vision is in fact talk about structure at the same time.
So, anyone got a vision?
we've just completely redone ours because we're rebranding, reconcreting what we actually do, and we did all of that over that December period, with the bulk of the work of it. It's now being finalised. So with that, with reconcreting down what we actually do, comes the vision of how we do it, how we get it out there, and how we. So it was a great time of year to do it because no one was coming at us for stuff, so we could actually sit and concentrate on it and just get it done. So yeah, fully revisioned for the company.
I think everyone here should probably have one. I mean, for their business at least anyway, and probably personally as well. That said, me saying that...
We did say probably.
Yeah. What's that?
You did say probably.
Within our business, like obviously the vision ties in with your business plan, etc. And I last did that in 2006 for the business, and everything's ticked along really well since then until last year. The wheels fell off just a little bit. A few things went wrong during the course of the year, some of them outside my control. But by the end of the year, I felt like the business wasn't, I want a really successful business, and it wasn't going as well as what I wanted, and so I was forced to go back and say, actually, redo it. And, so, 14 years later, come up with another vision to redo it.
I think that drive of wanting something like, I've been doing Electrics for a while, and my visions have been, I stood up here 2 years ago and said I want 25 people in each group, and this is how I'm going to go about it. And at the end of the year, I had less members than I started with. And it's like, it didn't hurt me having a vision, but it was kind of like, how do I get this? How do I, you're banging your head against the wall. How do I get this working? And what do I do? And people give you suggestions.
And what was your action plan when you said I want 25 people? What were you going to do in order to make that happen?
I did have one at the time, but
Did you do it?
Well, the action plan was to have one new member in each group once a month. It doesn't seem like a big audacious goal.
But how were you going to get that one person?
Well, advertising, word of mouth, Yeah. But I mean, like people would say, well, is it the price? So you think, I could play around with the price, but I played around with the price 3 years ago and it didn't make any difference. So then you got to look at, it's just so many variables. Like you said, out of your control, things happen. It's like when we went to Melbourne, the fires happened, so it killed our view. So what's slowing us down? What slows your business down is probably a good question. Or, as I said, I think last year, are we happy being a niche business? Do we want a big business? I'm happy being a niche business. That's why I like that. I like that personal contact. I like having.
And that's why a lot of people have always said to me, I do have the vision to get to a certain number of properties, and then I work back over the 5 years, and that gets updated because I don't have my goals or whatever, and that just either goes out a little bit or my actions have to change or whatever. But a lot of people say to me, what are you going to do when you've got 1,000 properties under management? I said, I'm never going to have 1,000 properties under management because I don't want that. Because then you lose the personal business.
Just out of curiosity, when you are sitting and redoing your business and stuff, because you've got a team of 5, do you involve your team in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
To an
extent, not.
To an extent, it all ties back to things like values as well, just going through those, and actually in a lot of ways they didn't change that much at all.
Yeah.
They might have just been rewritten out again. And the team already knows what's happening in the industry anyway, so it's kind of just more formalising that and saying, actually, we're not completely changing strategy or which way we're heading at all.
Yeah.
But it's just an adjustment and talking amongst the team about that, yeah.
I was just curious because I've seen it done both ways. I've seen the top-down, we will now move in this direction, and I've seen the collaborative, and one works really well, the other, just everyone else, just, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's...
Yeah, no, we had, it was very collaborative, I'd say. Yeah. You've got to have buy-in, otherwise it's not going to work.
Well, it's probably culture.
Yeah, I was going to say, different cultures work better with some types of organisations.
How do you motivate your staff? Like, what do you do? It's not always money, is it?
I yell at them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Either you're on board or you're out.
You can't whoop them anymore.
can, you just can't get caught.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Learn to bruise without bruising.
I will tell you one thing that made me very happy in the last week. It's got nothing to do with visions, but a staff member came and said, just letting you know now I'm going to need a 4-week holiday. I'm like, right. October 2021. So okay, I can probably work towards that. Thanks for the heads up. So she's clearly not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I was thinking that. And I'm thinking, who the hell plans their holidays that far out? Just looking. She's getting married or something, right?
She's got a vision.
She's got a vision.
She's got a real long-term vision.
And she's got enough time to save for it.
That's that too.
No, she, in fairness, she is married to an Indian. They got married here last year, and then that's going to be like their celebrations and things in India.
Oh, right.
So the mother-in-law said, you need to take 6 weeks off, and she said, if my mother-in-law ever comes in, I've told her you won't allow me 6 weeks, because you probably won't anyway, but just stick with the story. She's well aware she wouldn't cope with 6 weeks. Yeah. And you can't do that sort of thing in June, July, August, September in India.
Coming back to the vision stuff, I was saying to you the other day, it's like, and I think I've said it before, if you don't have that vision for your business or your life and things, it's much like a duck that's got one leg. And you're just going to float along and you're going to go in circles without actually knowing where you're going. You've got to have...
Pick on a duck just because it's only got one leg.
But if you have that vision...
You shouldn't really pick on ducks.
Why?
She said I'm too scared to die.
Well, they're only shotgun fella.
Oh, that's right. Dunno. Sorry.
Hang on, vegan.
So I mean, if you don't have that vision, then you're just going to go and kind of you're going to get somewhere. Like the duck one leg still gets somewhere, but it kind of doesn't go in a straight line, and it goes in circles and things like that. Whereas the vision gives you the ability to actually go, well, this is what I want to do. This is where I'm going, to then lay down the framework to actually make that happen. So then you can actually sit down and go, well, if this is my vision, then how the hell do I achieve that? And what do I need to put in place to do that? And then that will break down into your smaller milestones and goals and action plans for various aspects of the parts of the vision to achieve. And sometimes that vision can be really wide scope, but I've always been an advocate where we try and bring a vision to a focus, but not too focused, because you get locked in and then you'll miss the opportunities. But at least have a vision which gives you that, like the lighthouse, the direction to go, and then you can find your way and start to pull your plans out from that. But if you just have this wishy-washy, without values, without everything, you'll probably get somewhere, but it's going to be the long road rather than necessarily the right road. Yeah, you know.
I had a bit of an idea when we were talking to Dave yesterday, and the 15 minutes that we allot to either have a focus person and talking about 12, answering 12 impromptu questions, or give a presentation of value. I'm always surprised how many people in Elite 6 who have got a business who don't want to do a presentation, or you get a few peacocks who want to do a pitch. So I quite like what we're doing at the moment, but I said to David, why doesn't every business in Elite 6 want to have a PowerPoint presentation ready to rock and roll to go, to sort of do like a PowerPoint elevator pitch? And I thought, before I went away on my holiday, I got asked to go to Rob's thing, who hasn't turned up today, by the way, unless he's really late, to do a 20 slides, 20 seconds each slide. What are they called, those?
You name like that. We know what you mean.
So I've got one on my laptop now. It's basically 20 seconds, 20 slides. But I thought, imagine doing like a business plan where one of those slides would have to be a picture about your vision, and you only can talk about it for 20 seconds before it flips on to the next slide automatically. So every business needs a vision. Every goal needs to have goals. But you could surely come up with a template that every business needs this. You know, how am I going to be financed? How do I make my money? And before you know it, you've got 20 aspects of a business. And I sort of said that we quite need to actually challenge everyone to put together a 20-slide PowerPoint presentation, basically from A to Z about their business and what they're passionate about. What's your future? What's the history? Something personal about the director or something like that. And you only have 20 seconds to say it.
Because we started off the whole thing.
20 slides, 20 seconds. Yeah, sorry.
We started off the whole thing talking about elevator pitches. Because a whole lot of people very often don't think about that sort of thing. And even though there's some people who poo-poo elevator pitches, but the whole thing about them is that rather than being caught offhand and not being able to come across as proficient and professional in what it is that you do or the services or products that you supply, if somebody says to me, oh, hey, Joe, what do you do? You can just say, oh, hey, well, yeah, I'm from such and so-and-so, and we do such and so-and-so. We have these fantastic products that really help people do such and so-and-so. If you need a hand or would like some information about that, here's my card, give me a call. It's all it's got to be. It's just something simple like that. But people don't even have that. And it's just, and it's bloody nonsense if you're in business. Why wouldn't you do that? Because you want to present your best self. And so that was what we were saying about in this day and age, why wouldn't you assist yourself digitally if you have it on your phone or you have it on your notepad or whatever it is that you happen to use or your laptop? Just flag it up, say, there you go, and do your 20 seconds on each slide, that's 5 minutes.
But if somebody said to you, what's your vision, and you've got 20 seconds to tell me what your vision is, then you're going to think, well, that'd be quite cool, wouldn't it?
So,
but you sit there like a stunned mullet going, oh god, what is that?
What is that?
But I think does every business have 20, let's just use 20, but let's say 20 different things it must have to be in a business. Like, people often ask me, how do you make money out of this? Like, oh, I charge them a monthly fee, and everyone pays a monthly fee, and that adds up after the month. They go, oh, right, that answers that question. You know? Is there any other aspects?
I think 20 minutes is too many, actually. You get bogged down quite quickly.
Well, what surprised me when I did my first one, and that was about how I started doing podcasting. And I had to find 20 slides about how I started podcasting, and I wanted people. And then, so I got the easy ones, got 5 or 6 of them online, and then I thought I just need to join the dots now.
Right.
You know, so then like we learned at Toastmasters when you do table topics, which is a minute and a half. I'd love to do one here actually, a minute and a half speech impromptu. So somebody would say, you're a pilot and your plane's run out of fuel and you have to get on the intercom and tell the passengers that they're going to be okay, but you forgot to fill the plane up. You come along and you would now do a minute and a half talk impromptu on that topic. So any speech like that, you might think, well, how do I start? So every speech has an opening, a body, and a close. So now you have 3 speeches which are 35 seconds long to do, so it makes it a lot easier. So first of all, you do your opening, you say, hi, I'm Danny de Heck. Thank you for flying Danny's Airlines. Hope you're enjoying your flight today. Got some good news and some bad news. The good news is I'm a very competent pilot. And the chances of me getting you on the ground safely today are normally very good. But today we have a problem about I forgot to fuel the plane up. And I'm very happy to say I'm glad that the door at the front of the plane is locked. So you can't get me. Please, you know, you could just talk for a minute and a half, but at the end of it, then while I'm talking, I'm trying to think how I'm going to conclude this.
But the interesting thing with that is automatically, because of your training, you went to about half the speed of what you normally talk.
Yeah. Because David, we're putting on that development course for Elite 6, and one thing David does is record you in a video and you listen to yourself back. So lately I've been doing these podcasts and I've listened to my own voice back, and it's actually quite good to see how you come across.
Yeah, because I know that my 10-minute speeches always become 6-minute speeches when I actually get stand up and do them. Yep.
Yeah.
Because and that's nerves, because people do talk more quickly.
Correct.
And it's just the prep to get over that, so you know you actually to slow down as you're doing it.
All right, 12 minutes worth of speech for a 10
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, generally you do it the other way around. 8 minutes worth of speech for a 10-minute speech, and that way, normally if you read something that you've written that you want to put in a speech, because we speak at about between 120 and 180 words a minute. That's our standard speed. If we get nervous, what we tend to do is we tend to speak more quickly. That means that the ideas don't get across as coherently as they should do. But if we're reading a speech that we've written, we normally read around the 300 plus words a minute. So if you can read your speech in 10 minutes, to deliver it effectively is going to take you 20 minutes. So you've got to use your head when you're doing it.
So I did that talk at the investors group. It was a 15-minute talk about basically my life and being dyslexic and all that. And David helped me put it into he introduced me to mind maps, which I've used in here. But I gave the same 50-minute speech in 7 minutes to another crowd. Because I used to write my speeches out word for word and then bold all the words I wanted to highlight. But now the way I structured the speech is like a tree, and it had 6 branches. One would be the introduction, one would be the close, and then I had 4 main topics I wanted to leave them with. And then each of those topics would have many branches, I call them. So if I found I was losing the audience, I would either change to another branch and talk on a different topic, and then I'd switch back and forth. But at the end of the day, I wanted to leave the 4 main points. It didn't matter, I just didn't go so deep into each topic. So I'd say I joined Toastmasters because it helped me with my speaking. But then if I had to pad that out, I'd say I joined Toastmasters, and I was really nervous when I first went along. There's about 15 different roles that you can do on a day. Eventually I could do each of those roles without any problem, and then I'd explain some of the roles, before you know it, you've filled up that time and you haven't lost them. Alright, where are we going? Vision? 20 seconds vision? Do you need visions?
Absolutely.
So, while I've got your attention, the idea of having a PowerPoint presentation that describes your business from A to Z, I said maybe too many slides. I've challenged it actually, I reckon you'd find it. Would that be something that you guys would be interested in actually thinking as a wee project to do over the next 6 months?
I've emailed myself to do it, but
I would challenge that in terms of there's a well-known thing about vision boards. I don't know if anyone's used vision boards.
Great.
Yeah, they're fantastic. You should be able to succinctly be able to capture your vision in 1 slide, not 20 slides. 1 slide that has all the bits of your vision somehow, and you pull that together into 1 slide, and that's your vision board. And I would really, they're fantastic. I reckon everyone should sit down and have their own vision board created about what they're wanting to achieve in the next 12 months, and create that board and put it up and have it there to view every day.
Because I agree with you actually, because what I'm talking about, those 20 slides, your vision is just one of those slides, and basically it's 1 slide, 20 seconds. But if you're talking about a structure of a business and how we generate an income, like my income is from 4 or 5 different places. I could have investments. So if I was talking about how I make my living in a PowerPoint presentation, I might say, well, I actually make my income from online shops and website development and web posting and selling my body. So there's
This is clearly part of the book.
yeah, so I mean, so that's sort of what I was thinking really. But I mean, every business fundamentally needs an income. But I don't know if you've seen that, the goalposts, and it's about the business model. Is it YouTube?
I find mine, they keep shifting.
Yeah. But it's a whole day seminar on how a proper business, what it needs. You need to be aligned with other people. Like who do you associate your business with? Your services, the people that you need to buy products off, and courier people you need, or branding you need. And it was a whole picture of a business. I've forgotten what it's called, but it's on the interweb. I must find it one day.
There's a really cool tool, Pinterest, that you can use for your vision boards. I use that. It's great.
Yeah.
What's it, John?
Pinterest.
Pinterest.
Oh.
So you just grab pictures from anywhere on the internet, and then you pin them on you can do boards. And you can give your boards different names, and you can have as many boards as you want. And some boards are private because otherwise everybody can see them. So it's good.
Can I add something to
No.
please? One of the things I use with a lot of my clients is to select one word, maybe say one picture. I go with one word because the key words that we have in our life, we have a unique dialogue behind it. For example, goal, the word goal, will have a different representation of everyone. Okay, to some people it'll fit, and other people will be like, ooh. So you've got a whole dialogue that you created associated with one. So if you bring everything you want to do behind your vision to one word, you've got the right dialogue behind it to support it.
It'd be really interesting because you're right. Like one of the branding exercises that I've done with businesses before in the past is exactly that. Can you define your business in one word. What's the one word that encapsulates your business?
Friendships, relationships, friendship. Anyone else have a go there?
Confidence.
Confidence.
I thought success was the first thing that came to mind for me.
Inspiration.
Right, just write down 4 walls.
Help.
Help. Support. Yeah.
Secrecy.
Secrecy.
Yeah. My work is around secrecy.
Privacy. Secrecy.
But it's like for this year, I was talking over how I'd done things last year and how I was moving into this year with a very close friend of mine. He goes, so here you're organic. That's when you produce really well. Right? And I thought, so he says like this year, every time I go and do something now, is it organic? See, that word has a load of connotations for me. It's not about organic vegetables, but it has a whole load of connotations which says to me that I manifest stuff really easily. It's because I get it. And that's part of that word organic. So that is my word for the year. That's my thing.
You know.
Creativity.
I was going to say that one.
Yeah.
That's right, okay. Yeah. And who's hadn't had a go in that one? Nige, you wrote down 4 walls, didn't you?
No, I wrote down legacy.
Legacy. Yeah, you used that before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Competence.
Confidence?
Competence.
Confidence. Okay, let's turn all those words into something else. So what would you say that the one word that describes what you're all about,
Your
so to speak?
story behind what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because every vision starts off with knowledge.
Yeah.
So you can branch, if you can do that, then you can branch out. So look, mine's inspire. So then I can go branch down to, well, what am I trying to inspire? What does that mean for me? So it's inspiring people to be better than what they are now. And so who are those people? Well, then that's young kids that are going through a hard time, trying to get them to realise that they can be better if they adopt a good mindset and the right pathways in their life. So how do I do that? How can I do that? Well, these are the kinds of things that I can talk about that will still track back to inspire, run parenting workshops around aggression and anxiety, and I can educate kids with little sheets and stuff, and we can deliver that through our martial arts, and we can bring more life skill education into that, and we can bring self-defense and empower people, all going back to the same word, inspire people to be better. And so it filters out, and you can branch it out. And then, okay, well, then what else could you do? Well, inspire means I could then do this with businesses as well, and we could bring in this mental well-being side of things, and we could grow that side, and that's another arm, all stemming from the top, from the one word. So if you can think about your business, encapsulate, and then work from there and break it out, it's quite amazing how you can filter. And like part of my thing this year was around that, and so set up this parenting seminar for anxiety, aggression, and emotional connection with your kids. And I got one of the best child counsellors in Christchurch coming to do the presentation and do the seminar. We sold 50 seats within 7 days.
Wow.
And then I got a call the other day from the retired district health board going, are you looking at, can you run any more of these seminars, because we want to deliver this for Retire? And I'm like, well, no, I can, but it's being structured around my local community and trying to build that village and support network. I hadn't even thought about taking it
Is
out.
that because you shared your vision with others? Did they see?
That's it. I've shared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is important, and these skills.
And the way you're
people
talking, it sounds actually really good.
Yeah.
You know. And how do you? And now, from a business perspective, that's what we're talking. How do you monetize that?
Correct.
Yeah.
So then you can think about so that event's a free event. How do I monetize that? Yes, there's a selfish angle, is that the club is sponsoring. We're the sponsor of that event, so we're trying to get more people into the club, and we're trying to offer workshops for businesses and stuff. There's an angle around that, but what it enables us to also establish ourselves more as the leading life skill education for kids and understanding age development, as opposed to just another martial arts school, because that's not what we want, what we're about. Our aim is to inspire.
So there's one more slide in the 20, a point of difference.
Correct.
Yeah, so now you've got another slide. What's your point of difference? Make that one of the 20 slides, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
And then I ring anxiety.org in town who do stuff, and suddenly they're giving me a whole box of material because they're like, this is amazing that you're doing this, and clubs do this kind of thing. So but it all comes back to, well, until I worked out actually what I was trying to do, that word, where I wanted to be, what the vision was, and it didn't flow out from that. But once I had that, it was like, oh, I could do this, and all of a sudden this thing just is an angle. It's an angle, and then you can do other angles from that tie into that. And so now it's everything I'm doing this year is coming back to going, does that tie back into the vision and what I want to do? Because if it does, then we should do something, explore that idea and how we could educate it and how could we do that. If it doesn't, then we don't want to do it. We just go, that's great, but it's not for us right now. And so we can keep doing that, which keeps us kind of focused on our overall vision for the year, the things that we want to do. So,
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I like that.
Just as a comment on that, just your last thought there, when you said you think about something that might not fit in your vision for now, but you do know it could well fit in your vision further down the track.
Correct.
So you don't dump it, you shelve it, don't you? You keep an eye on it. You think, how can we bring this in later?
because a lot of it's timing, right?
Exactly.
You might not be in the right position right now to do something. It's not that it's a bad idea. It's just about the timing. But if you have that in your shelf and you think it's worthwhile, then you can bring it into your vision and start figuring out a way to work towards that, so you can execute that. So like podcasting, I want to start doing a podcasting game. So I now need to work the angle on how I do that, and how do I fit that into my day, and how do I get the material organised, and what do I talk about, and supporting material, because I don't want to just do the audio podcast. I want to take it further than that. So you can start to plan out. It doesn't mean it's wrong, it's just might not be right now, but it's still part of your vision.
So we've got 18 slides to go. So far we've got a vision slide, a point of difference slide.
It wasn't a hand up, it was just a
What about history slide, or
Well, history's story, isn't it? And people want to know stories.
in 20 seconds describe?
How did you end up where you are?
Well, this is let's use Chris. In 20 seconds, theoretically, describe how you go into doing the martial arts, how you started the club. Is that 20 seconds enough? What's that called then? You know what I mean?
Well, it's your story, isn't it? So, in 20 seconds, my story is as a mouthy 13-year-old that needed to learn to keep his mouth shut. So, I did martial arts, and that worked. And then that taught me a whole lot of stuff that led through my life into business, and the way I approach things, and discipline and willpower and strength of mind, that at a point I got sick of the political crap that's in martial arts and the direction a lot of it was going, and wanted to pass my knowledge on to other kids and really address the growing problem of bullying, anxiety that's in around.
Yeah. Now listening to that, I think you used twice as many words as you needed to. Not that the information's wrong, but it could have been more interesting perhaps only using 25 words rather than 100, but naturally you sped up. And what's that slide
I was
called?
also on the spot with the
3
second warning to define my life in 20 seconds.
I reckon, with what I know, what I've done with all this stuff, I reckon if we all did a PowerPoint with 20 slides in 20 seconds each, you'd be amazed what you learned about your business.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, I'm actually, I wouldn't mind doing one next week, but I need 18 more topics. Yeah. Well, how do you make your money? Is that a slide?
Well, I think if you're explaining your business, if you're promoting yourself, you don't need to say to people how you make your money.
No.
What you can describe is what the sort of, if you like, the value they're going to get out of the services you provide. So you can maybe have another one on your value to your clients.
Value. Value. What value do you give your clients, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that could be value. So what I'm talking about is having that one branch, like we're doing here. So we're talking about solutions, takeaways, experiences, and problems. Straight away, I've got a meeting that's an hour long. It's now 15 minutes long each section.
You've also got who you are as a company, what you do as a company, who you do it for as a company.
So mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you've only got 20 seconds, you break your mission out into the key parts of the mission into different slides.
Yeah.
Of course,
Mission.
you definitely have to have one that's going through values as well.
I've got values,
Because that
mission.
defines your business and
Yeah.
So you talked about the 5 things that you split things up into. Well,
Yeah.
have each one of those as another slide.
5 things.
Yes,
Oh, you could do, yeah.
Yeah, just hit each
Yeah.
one of those as
But
another
if
slide.
I said I'm going to do a 1.5-minute speech and have an opening, body and a conclusion, straight away I know I need an opening. Hi, my name's Danny DeHeck. I'm the owner of Elite 6 Business Networking. I bought the company in 2003. I run all the meetings myself, blah, blah, blah. That's my opening, a regular one. And now I need a close.
So there's
Thanks for coming here today. It's been awesome.
there's 2 straight away.
Yeah. So now I need a couple of them. And in the guts, the whole point of it, what message you want to leave, your takeaway. Yeah. I think it'd be quite an interesting. Just because I've done a couple of them recently, and I'm actually quite amazed. Like with the podcast, for example, I'm thinking, what can I use? I know, I'll talk about the technology I use. There's 2 lots of technology. Now, what do I do with the videos that the sound I record? You know, or what's inspired me to do a podcast? You know, all these are different topics that you bring up. It is 10:30. Right, so that means that where did we go today with this? Did we get any takeaways on that?
We haven't got takeaways.
We haven't? So did you go away inspired with anything?
Probably something about.
I think so. Hope so. Next week. We're describing who we are. Is it
Do you want to do one of your 5 minutes round?
5 minutes?
Everybody talks for 5 minutes on your business. And what you do.
3 minutes?
Might not be fair.
3 minutes.
It's sort of our other format in a way, but isn't it? It's
Yeah,
a bit
I guess it
different. Yeah.
But in saying that, there's a whole heap of us who are in different groups during the week who probably don't actually know what everyone here does.
So I thought about that. That's why I say visit other groups.
and you could only get 12 people, and you could bet the turnout would be a lot more. I reckon if everyone within the group knew that they were going to get 5 minutes in front of
true.
more people, we'd
So
probably
when we
have-
do a week of pitching, it's like that, isn't it? Can you define yourself in 5 minutes?
You can find yourself in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Find yourself in 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, if it was 1 minute, it's an elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The other thing, Dan, is
Another
that
pitch, right?
if we started on this concept of 2020 vision, over the next few weeks we could perhaps look at the idea of how that gets developed, you know, the structures and the timeline and that kind of stuff.
Is it a business structure? Is it
Well,
structure?
no, I mean more of a vision structure. How do you structure your vision? How do you actually put it into practice?
There is an idea, Danny.
Yep.
Working on elevator pitches.
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the problem I have with that is the biggest business networking company in the world, they do a pitch for a minute every time they stand up and do their pitch every week, same deal. And I get it. And it's a really interesting thing when you try and explain who you are and what you do in a minute. It's actually quite a long time. A lot of people don't know how to do that, you see.
So that's what I made the topic for next week is actually working out how you create your elevator pitch, what's important to have in it, why it's important to have one. Yeah.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Rob,
Well, yeah, alright. So, overall topic, pitching, business, I don't know. Big small people here this week.
You know what, he's going to have to turn up, isn't he?
Oh, right.
Tell him, if he doesn't turn up on time, he buys the right coffee.
No, David would enjoy that. Yeah, I don't know how to structure that.
Head back that way.
No, that's basically if you do something like that, that's a workshop, and that's a different kettle of fish from what you're normally running here, which is a forum.
oh yeah, I'm just curious.
Okay,
I
so
think it would be interesting to,
My meeting yesterday.
you know, like focus on, if I come up with 20 slides, and maybe I started off and showed you one of the thingies I did, and did a 20-second slide, 20-second, maybe about Elite 6 in general, and just use 20 slides, and then we could talk about, maybe that could lead into what you liked about hearing. Say if I was going to a room full of 200 people and I've never heard of business networking in the past, and here I am as a guy who's theoretically trying to pitch something or a concept or tell them how it works, or the benefits of business networking, maybe how you read what I do, could be an open discussion that may generate lead what you liked and what didn't like. Pick on and make me cry.
Don't you think?
So say we'd slam you and you'd get upset.
I like the feedback. I throw everyone.
With the, I don't know, I guess the 20 slides is coming from 2020. Is that,
Oh,
but
there's
don't-
a special name for it. There's a whole lot of architects,
Yeah.
and they give these boring PowerPoints, death by PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And then this architect who invented it said, right, you've got 20 slides, 20 seconds, and that's all you've got to tell us about what you do and who you are.
yeah.
And that's how it sort of started. But people
Sorry, everyone see.
all right.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine, and I could imagine, you know, I might get to 14 and then it's like, shit, I've got to get another 6. And
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of, you know, doesn't it? It's
I
just a
think-
number, isn't it?
I
Isn't
think
it?
the extra 6 that you're struggling to find is the trick. And it's quite hard to actually get enough content, but it gives it more substance. I'll finish this anyway. I don't have the topic for next week, but tune in and you'll find out. That's the trick. Have a good day.